Call to order the Tuesday, January 7th meeting of the Monmouth City Council. It's nice to see everybody after the 4 or 5 weeks with no meetings. It seems like forever. And welcome to our first meeting for 2014. And Phyllis, the roll call, please.
Councilor Carey?
Here.
Councilor Coons? Here. Councilor Meyer?
Here.
Councilor Milligan?
Here.
Councilor Schaefer is either going to be late or excused. Councilor Silbernagel?
Here.
Mayor Oberst.
Yep. All rise for the flag salute, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. The consent calendar tonight consists of 2 items. The minutes from the meeting ever so long ago, December 3rd, and the work session from that same meeting. I'd like to have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded in favor.
Aye.
Opposed? And we will adopt those 2 sets of minutes. No presentations, right, Phyllis? I didn't think so. It's on here, I always
Sorry.
Mayor's report tonight. When I first started to look back at my calendar since last meeting, I was thinking, oh, well, it's been a holiday season, nothing's gone on, and I realized the first couple of weeks after that last meeting, I was actually fairly busy. The first item was the president has his annual holiday party, and
President of the university.
President of the university.
States or-
Well, he has one too, but I wouldn't invite him to that one. So I arrived at President Weiss's party just in time for him to make the announcement that he is going to seek to have Western Oregon University have an independent board, the way the 3 bigs have done. And so he says, you know, it's going to be an interesting challenge going forward, but he sees that as the best way forward for the university. So I was thrilled because after having a couple of conversations with him around this, I agreed that you got to give it a shot to do this. So it was a very nice party and nice to walk in on that announcement. A few days later, I was scheduled to help light the holiday tree on campus, and that didn't happen because it was really cold and really icy, and we waited a few days, and it was just really cold and kind of icy. But we did have a very abbreviated session with that and did get that tree lit. And despite the cold and snow, we also, the day after the scheduled tree lighting didn't happen, we opened a dog park. And it was a very well-attended event, number of people, number of 4-legged friends, and it was quite nice. Had a nice opening with that. Scott and I, SEDCOR decided to start a series of having the member cities present about themselves and what's going on. And they concluded that the 3 large Polk County cities of Monmouth, Independence, and Dallas should all present the same luncheon. And so basically I said to Scott, so what are we going to do? And he said, oh, you can talk. And I said, okay, if you do PowerPoint. So I made Scott do his first PowerPoint. He told me later it was his very first one. He did a really nice job. So then I took it and bollocksed it up and tried to make it fancy, and he unbollocksed it and made it very nice. We had a really comfortable middle ground. I had a good time with that. It was really a nice opportunity to stand in front of that group and share with them all the good stuff that has been going on in town over the last 3, 4, 5 years with our various projects, and you know, from downtown and downtown businesses and all our utility projects and streetscape and so on. So that was a really nice event, and Scott wrote a bit about that, and also I believe that PowerPoint is still available on the website if anybody's interested in having a look at that. And then finally, we had a grand opening, ribbon cutting of The Find, which is up on Monmouth Avenue, just around the corner from the Northwest Pizza Company and the Bemrose building, for lack of a better term. I don't know if we have formally named that building yet. And we have a couple of grand openings coming up in the next few weeks. We have 2 new photography studios coming into town, and we'll be cutting those ribbons as well. And that is all I have. At which point I will turn to council representatives, boards, and commissions and ask Councilor Silbernagel what the seniors have been up to.
Oh, seniors are always busy.
I was not able to make the last meeting. The darn work got in the way this time. We've got a meeting with the Senior Advisory Board this evening, a work session here in a little while. We've also got Senior Center Expansion Plan on our agenda, so that'll be great to discuss that. I'm always impressed, I guess, with this group, the Senior Center group, all the things they have going on. I glanced at their last newsletter. So we got AARP, tax help, music, bingo, crafting, exercise, yoga, oil painting, AARP, defensive driving, socials, and all kinds of trips. So it's a very, very active group, and we look forward to visiting with them later this evening with representatives.
Yeah, thank you. Councilor Meyer, tell us about traffic safety in Minot.
Well, Minot, we haven't had a meeting. In fact, I will, our meeting got moved back a little bit, so I will be presenting probably not next time, because we will have a meeting on the 22nd
Okay.
of this month, and which is the day after our next council meeting.
Okay.
And then traffic safety, I missed that meeting.
Okay.
So.
Good enough. And any community announcements tonight?
I do have something from the Chamber of Commerce. Tomorrow is the monthly chamber forum. It will be held from 12 to 1 at Mindy's Pizza. And it's a report on the chamber, our annual doings. It's been a really amazing year. I don't know, if you who aren't chamber members might not get this, but we've really upgraded our communication to the community, to the business community, and anybody else who's on the mailing list. With weekly e-blasts, we have started a pep talk series, which is a business development series for local businesses. We've done a number of events, new sort of fundraiser and just member interaction events. So it's been a great year for the Monmouth Independence Chamber, and tomorrow at Mindy's from 12 to 1 is the first of the chamber luncheon forums. And the Community Awards Banquet, which is held in March, just want to let you know, we'll be changing venues and changing format a little bit. It will be held at Eola Hills Winery instead of Central High School. And there'll be some changes in the way that we honor citizens, particularly the junior citizens. In the past, there's been sort of elementary student of the year and secondary student of the year. That'll be changed up a little bit. So.
Very good.
Question, State of the Cities,
That would be in February.
That's going to be in February.
the first meeting in
The forum. Actually, Jean proposed that it be in January, and I proposed that, gee whiz, what a wonderful way to end the holiday season, making the two mayors start writing that speech. And so I argued rather forcefully that in fact February would be a much better date and should become tradition. So
Yeah, it'll be
that's where we're headed.
second Wednesday in February.
John?
I wanted to circle back just for a second to Ben's report and the relative to Traffic Safety Commission. You weren't there, but one of the things, there's been quite a bit of chit chat about the enhanced, I guess you could say, crosswalk at Madrona and 99. And for the life of me, I've looked but can't locate, what was it? We received a grant for that. And how much was that? Does
I think it
anybody have a
was
recollection?
18,000, and we put in some additional monies because they requested the sidewalk go back further. I don't remember the total project.
mainly on Brad's side,
Yeah.
the sidewalk and.
Yeah, they just wanted a continuation.
But I think that's been brought up a couple of times, and George leading the charge, he's seen some issues there.
Yeah.
I think what we came to a conclusion, I think at the September meeting, was we were gonna talk to ODOT about we'd like to get a blinking little thing that they could push the button and let cars know that there's somebody in the crosswalk. So Chief wasn't sure if they would go that much, but we would check with our ODOT representative, which we're seeing regularly, like about every other meeting, to see if there was some grant money for that, or potentially, one thing that would be good to hear from this council is, if we can't, and it requires some money from our standpoint, how much do we to put into it if ODOT is not gonna take maybe the lead financially on it, so, because obviously we go in a different direction if they blow us off.
Well, there's two reasons that I ask. One is that after George and he had that meeting, meeting last time, he sort of illuminated some of the issues that are there, and they made perfect sense.
Yeah.
And coupled with the fact that that's a kind of a dark area, there is certainly the potential for foot traffic back and forth there, and so I think that would be good. And then I got to looking at what was actually there, and what had been done, and that's where I wanted to try to go back and figure out how much the grant was. And it doesn't seem we got a hell of a lot of, for $18,000. I understand the sidewalk, perfect, and I concur with that. We get a sign and we get a ladder crosswalk. Just saying.
It's called inflation.
No, I don't know what it's called. I mean, I seriously don't. But I thought, wow, if we'd got a flasher, if we'd got something like that, and I thought, okay, it's a little spendy, but.
And those flashers, I'm gonna pull this number out, and please don't quote me on this. They run something like $28,000 a piece.
Really?
They're incredibly expensive, but that said, I think that, as I mentioned earlier, there's a program called Safe Routes to School that would be very applicable to the Church Street area for some enhancements, down at Madrona and west side. So we'd have to think on that a little bit.
Well, there's two of those, and I see them often enough in front of the Capitol, as
Right.
you've noted, Mr. Mayor, and then there's also one right there, that connection between Willamette University and Tokyo International University.
Yep.
They've got the overpass, the overbridge there, but there's also.
And no one was using it, so they put it in the flags, but.
Well, it's kind of an odd access to it. Yeah.
There's also one on 99 in Corvallis, just on the south end of Corvallis. Actually, there's two of them in a stretch of 99. So I know it'll be done. There's some on Walnut, there's some on other places in Corvallis, but.
So I think.
Those were done by the city. And
I
those
think
aren't
I think the question is, are you okay with the traffic safety and chief, staff, and looking into potentially that? And if we get rebuffed, I can certainly report back, and we can always do whatever we want at our own expense.
Sure. Well, not
Good luck.
Well, I thought George had a compelling
Yeah, sure.
argument,
No,
and would be completely on side with putting that onto an agenda should we get rebuffed.
But you're okay with us going the normal process from
Right,
here? Okay.
right. And really, it stemmed as much as anything else from trying to figure out, the amount of the grant. That's really it.
We just don't want too many flashing things, since, that creates. a
Well,
lot of
unfortunately, we don't have any flashing things at the moment.
Right.
And I'm
That other one's a little
assuming
higher
it's-
up.
He was joking about the beacon.
Oh, yeah. We had to hire that thing.
Yeah, we just moved in.
Okay, that's that, thank you.
Maybe we can find that sign down. Okay, anything else on community announcements? That was a little digression from our usual approach on announcements, but thanks, John. City managers report.
Yeah, just one item to report, the rec building, we got our bids in, and actually the high bid was $60,000. And it's a Yule Mary Provancha, the folks that own the Tampa Public Building. And so they're doing some due diligence work right now. We should find out by Friday if we're gonna continue. And if that happens, we'll work up a sales contract. And then it comes back to you to do a final approval.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Any
Oh,
ci-
do you want to talk about the beacon?
Oh, yeah, just a note, what we did find out was it's an AT&T tower, and you have normal beacon, and then when it has an issue, it's upset, maybe its stomach hurts or something, then it blinks really loudly like that. And then eventually somebody figures it out and comes and fixes it. And it's interesting that it does it, because you just really think in this day and age, you just have a telemetry system that would just go to a switchboard and it would just notify them that way.
Yeah, no, it takes about 4,000 people in the city of Monmouth having a disco light flashing in their bedrooms all night long.
I'm in
With a
the
cloud
radio, so-
cover aiming it right at your house.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like right in
Oh, yeah,
his front
it was
door.
pretty amazing. I walked out, it was Saturday, Sunday morning, and it was still dark, and I'm like, oh, what?
I got one Sunday.
We're having a grand opening. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Strobe light, you know?
Okay.
Anyway.
All righty. Any citizens' comments tonight? Steve? Okay. And with that, I will turn the page to my business agenda, which has a resolution readopting miscellaneous administration fees and repealing conflicting resolutions. And it looks like this is from Phyllis, so I bet she's gonna talk to us about it.
So this is the update to the administrative fees regarding the $20 fee we now have instituted for someone for a temporary permit for parking an occupied trailer on the street, which we have done in the past, but not charged a fee.
Okay, so somebody has to actually come in and get a permit,
They do, they have in the past, but, yeah,
and now we're charging for administrative.
right.
Any questions for Phyllis or Scott or anybody? This would be resolution number 1769.
I move adoption of resolution 1769, a resolution adopting miscellaneous administration fees and repealing conflicting provisions.
Second. Pretty good. Darren. Darren seconded. Roll call, please, Phyllis.
Counselor Milligan,
Aye.
Counselor Coons,
Aye.
Counselor Silbernagel,
Aye.
Counselor Terry,
Aye.
Counselor Meyer.
Aye.
And it sounds like that's a go. And then the only other item we have on the business agenda tonight is a second reading of the Sparks Annexation Ordinance, which I will read by title, and which says, it is an ordinance declaring 5.6 acres owned by Brian E. Sparks and Cheryl D. Sparks annexed into the city of Monmouth. And this is ordinance number 1339. Are there any questions for Mark or Scott or Phyllis or Lane or Brian?
Or,
I would add, the staff reports an error that this would become effective upon signing. There's not a 30-day
Oh.
clause.
Oh, no, it's 30, it is 30 days.
Oh, it is 30
Yes,
days.
by virtue, it just.
I see. Oh,
Ordinance
got
are,
it.
by,
Got it. Okay.
without an emergency clause
Okay.
or a specific date, ordinances do take effect on the 30th day after signing.
Okay,
So
Very
this
good.
just says we're gonna move this city so he gets to pay more taxes to us.
that's right. Brian, you're such a good guy.
Thanks, Brian.
So, ordinance number 1339, if I can have a motion.
I move approval of ordinance 1339, an ordinance declaring 5.6 acres owned by Brian E. Sparks and Cheryl D. Sparks annexed into the city of Monmouth.
second.
Moved and seconded. A roll call, please, Phyllis.
Counselor Meyer,
With you guys.
Counselor
Counselor
Meyer.
Yes.
Counselor
I
Coons,
agree.
Aye.
Hey, y'all, we're back.
Counselor Milligan,
Aye.
Counselor Silbernagel,
Aye.
Counselor Carey.
Aye.
And with that,
I'm
in 30 days, we got you, Brian.
She is talking quietly.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to the end of the business agenda. We have an executive session tonight, which will occur after work session. So I am going to read the handy dandy script for that, and then ask for well, first I'll ask for council comments, and then I'll ask to adjourn this meeting until after the work session. So, this script reads as follows. The city council will now meet in executive session for the purpose of discussing performance evaluation of public officers and employees. This executive session is held pursuant to ORS 192.6602I, performance evaluation of public officers and employees, which allows the council to meet in executive session. Representatives of the news media and designated staff or other persons shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room and it is not anticipated that action will be taken this evening after returning from executive session. And so, with that, are there any council comments tonight? Or did we already have them? Okay, I think we're good, and with that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn the regular council meeting until after work session.
So moved.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And